And welcome back, fourth and fifth grade students, to another day of music online. So excited to be back with you today. And what we're going to be doing is building on what we did, but also I have a few new things up my sleeves. I guess I have short sleeves on today. So here's what I need you to do first. I have a new vocal warm-up that we're going to do, but we're actually going to start out, before we get to that, we're going to need you to find a chair. And with that chair, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. You have to sit in your chair like me. I'm going to slide back so you can just see my feet. And what you're going to have to do is exactly my patterns. But as you do these patterns, you're going to see the patterns come up on the screen. Now, you may not do exactly what my feet do, and that is okay. But here we go. So I got to switch up to my screen here, to my screen share. Thanks for being patient with me since I'm my own technology person. So I need to make sure that that is set up, ready to go. And that is set up, ready to go. Beautiful. So I've got to go to iTunes first. There we go. So here we go. I'll let that restart. Sorry about that. Get ready to do my pattern with me. Here I go. Do my pattern. Next pattern. There it is, sorry. Next pattern. There we go. Next pattern. First pattern. Change to a pat. Next pattern. Next pattern. Next pattern. Last time through. And yay for you. And so now I'll go ahead and get out of my stop share. And I will also send you over to our next screen where you're able to follow along with us what we're doing today. So that was just a little bit of a movement activity to kind of get us up and doing something beyond just sitting and getting, so to speak. Garrett's standing at the door. He must be ready to come in and do some vocal warm-ups with us. So I'll bring Garrett in and have him say hi. So come on in and say hello to our fourth and fifth graders again, Garrett. So Garrett, we're going to help our fourth and fifth graders with their vocal warm-ups today. And here's what I'm going to ask you to do. So you have to follow with Garrett today. You have to be able to follow with my kites. Yes, he's so excited to see you guys. Aren't you? So here's what we're going to do, Garrett. We're going to take them on our little vocal warm-up. Oops. Get out of that. There we go. Yep. do that. Sorry, I accidentally hit the wrong button. I'm going to fix it though. There we go. And would you please follow the kite wherever it may go? Will you get a follow with us? Is that pretty silly? So now, students, would you go ahead and this time hold on with two hands, and I'm going to have Garrett help me out. We're going to hold on with our two hands here, and we're going to be flying a kite together. So would you please fly a kite with us? Ready? Here we go, buddy. We'll fly a kite together. Here we go. We got a hold of that. Here we go. You're like, I'm done with this. Here we go. We got to fly the kite. And the next one. Awesome job. Well, thank you, Garrett, for being my assistant. Would you tell everybody goodbye? Tell everybody goodbye and say we'll see you next time. He was so excited. He was literally standing outside the door, literally standing and like, I want to say hi. So I'm glad he came and said hello to you today. So now let's go back to our screen so that you can follow along. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Cancel. You don't need to have me comment on this. So now we did our vocal warm-up. Now I need you to help me out with my singing part of Fruit Basket Turnover. Would you listen to it one time? Here I go, just me. I'm going to play it for you one more time, get it back in our ears. Be my echo. Oranges and lemons, apples and bananas, peaches, plums, watermelon too. One will be left over. Fruit basket turnover. Oranges and lemons, apples and bananas, peaches, plums, watermelon too. One will be left over. Fruit basket turnover. Sing it with me last time. Oranges and lemons, apples and bananas, peaches, plums, watermelon too. One will be left over. Fruit basket turnover. Press pause on that, because if we come back to our screen share, we now are going to look at a song called Bum 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 bum. Would you follow my dots with your fingers? Here we go. Bum bum bum, 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 bum. Oops, sorry. Bum, 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 bum. As I sing it this next time, notice what you see on these cards. Anything that you notice that are the same, different, so on and so forth. I'll go again. Ready, here I go. Bum, 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 bum. So if you have a family member nearby, go ahead and tell them what you notice that is very similar about any of my cards. I'll go back through. If you're there by yourself, go ahead and say it out loud what you see on these cards, anything that you notice that are the same. I'll give you a couple seconds to think about that or say that out loud. What do you notice? I wonder how many of you notice that even though I have the two cards, knowing that they are two separate ones, that they are actually the same until I change to the next slide. Hopefully a lot of you notice that because I have to sing each part twice. So would you please be my echo? Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Brother John, Brother John. Morning bells are ringing. Morning bells are ringing. Ding, ding, dong. Ding, ding, dong. Good for you. So now you might have also noticed that the first part and the second part, that there's one dot that's missing, but they still have this direction that's going up. And then we get to that third slide and we notice that the dots, there's a lot more of them, that there's probably ones that are faster or slower in that. And again, we're not worried about rhythm, so to speak, today. But what we are worried about is we're worried about how the melodic direction or how the melody goes. So I want you to notice something. If I came up here, does it look like I'm taking big steps or am I taking just next door neighbor steps on these? What do you think? It looks like I'm going from one step to the next, okay? What if I looked at this card? Do I have any big jumps in here to worry about? No, don't have to worry about that. So it looks like I'm going step by step again. What about these? There's one with a little jump, isn't there? We can even see it. It's very blatantly obvious where we see that there's a big space here. So we know that there's a step that's missing there. So they had to skip over that, okay? What about this last one? Absolutely. We can tell that there's a big space between these and these. So we know that we have to go a lot lower with our singing voice. Interesting. Well, what if I put it on the music staff? What do we call this little special symbol over here? We call it the do clef. And so the do clef tells us where our do is at. So knowing that, is do on a line or on a space? Do is on a space, isn't it? So then if I went from do, what would be my next note up? If I had do that was in the basement and I'm leading the steps up, what do I come up to? To re. And then if I go up to the floor of my house, what do I have? Mi. Do I come back to anything? Yeah, I come back to do. So I go do, re, mi, do. Good for you. What about this one? And was it okay that I moved on? Yeah, because they're both the same, aren't they? So what about here? Do we have a note that could help us out here? I see one. What did we use for the word sleep? We used our me. So what do I start on this one with? I start on me. But then there's one here. Ooh. That's interesting, but I don't know if we know that one yet. But it's right next door. Okay, well, we'll keep going. Interesting. Well, don't we know another note that if do is on a space and me is on a space, what else is also on a space? So we know that so has to be on this space, and so can even be on this space here too, doesn't it? But what about, if this is so, what about this one? Yep, that's so. What do we know is just higher than so, next door neighbor? At the side of my house, have to go to the roof of my house, which is la. Good. There's that me note again. This one's down on our do clef, so this one is our do. Good for you. Well, there's two do's. I just have to worry about this last one. Bum, bum, bum. Do, so, do. Good for you. So now we are going to be looking at, I had my actual slide here set up, sorry. Oh, I don't want to give this away. I thought I had my actual Music Street signs there, but I don't. So we are going to be looking at that new mystery note coming up in the next couple lessons. So there's that mystery note that's between me and so that we're going to be looking at. How do we label it and how do we sing it? So press save on that. As we come back to our screen to follow along. So now we're going to do a little bit of rhythm practice today, just a little bit. And with our small rhythm practice today, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Would you please find something that you can use as a percussion instrument? Today, I'm going to use my little hand drum that's sitting over here. And let me go to the presentation. There it goes. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do with our little rhythm practice. I have my little hand drum here. Oops. I don't know why it paused. Now I'm back. I don't know why it paused, but I'm back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my little hand drum here. If you don't have a hand drum and you want to use a lid like we used in the last lesson, you're more than welcome to do that. If you just want to use the chair that you were using earlier in the activity, you're more than welcome to do that. Anything that you can use for this rhythm, you can even use your body. That'd be totally fine. So my first rhythm card, would you say it with me? 1, 2, ready, and go. Cinco, pa, tiri, tiri, ta. Would you play that on your instrument of choice? 1, 2, ready, and go. Cinco, pa, tiri, tiri, ta. Next rhythm, 1, 2, say it with me, go. Tiri, tiri, cinco, pa, ta. Tricky. I put the fast one at the beginning. Tiri, tiri, cinco, pa, ta. Ready? Let's say it. 1, 2, and play it, go. Tiri, tiri, cinco, pa, ta. Next one. See if you can say this on your own. 1, 2, and here you go. Did you say cinco, pa, ta, ta? If you did, you were correct. Say it with me. 1, 2, and ready, and go. Notice I didn't say it. I'm letting you say it now. What do I say for this one? I have the 2 at the end, don't I? Ready? Just like the beginning of the other one, but now we have the 2. 1, 2, and say it, go. Even though it's a 2, I'm not going to go 2. I'm going to go cinco, pa, 2, and just let it ring. Ready? You say and play it. 1 and 2, and here you go. Next one. Ooh, I flipped it around. Ready? Best of luck and go. Good. The tricky part is that you're going to want to add something after it. So we would say 2 syncopa. Do it with me. 1, 2. I'll say this with you. Ready and go. 2 syncopa. Next pattern. Ooh, I stuck it in the middle. Best of luck. 1, 2, and here you go. Play that again and say it with me. 1, 2, and ready and go. Ta, cinco, pa, ta. Good. Oh, I was mean. How do I do this one? Well, look at your two groups. There are a syncopa and a syncopa. So it looks harder than it is. All you have to say is syncopa, syncopa. Just sounds like a little repeating record. 1, 2, ready and go. Say it as you play it. 1, 2, and ready and go. Syncopa, syncopa. Ooh, now I added the rest. I got to be nice a little bit. 1, 2, and here you go. And if you want to mute the drum, you're more than welcome to do that. And the last one, I believe. 1, 2, and ready. Here you go. Say this with me. 1, 2, and ready and go. Cinco, pa, ta. Good for you. So now we come back to our screen to see what we have left, and we have one new thing remaining. So let's come back to our Big Fat Biscuit song and remind ourselves exactly where we left off from last time. There we go. I don't want this one. I want the Big Fat Biscuit. There we go. So here we go. Would you please remind me of Big Fat Biscuit, Choo-Baloo, just from the oven, Choo-Baloo. Now fly over yonder, Choo-Baloo. So we talked about the different sizes of biscuits. We talked about that there was ones that they represented different sizes to represent different rhythms. So we talked about that we knew the specific rhythms. We had our tas and our twos and our TTs. So now let's do that. Big fat biscuit, Choo-Baloo, just from the oven, Choo-Baloo. Now fly over yonder, Choo-Baloo. So we remember that our syncopa rhythm was fly over that now exists. Okay? But now, this is where we left off. We had to take a part of the chuba. We know that there's two sounds, and we talked about that there was a long and a short. So we said long, short, ba, chuba, long, short, lu, sorry. So we did that, and we left off with this. I asked you to think about for today, what could I put for this pattern? So what we need to understand is that there are two sound patterns that have two beats. So we know that there's the short one, and we know that we can split the eighth note. But we can't leave the other eighth note out. So what do I do to make the ta longer? What do I do? Well, I could leave it just like that, but then I'm going to make two different sounds with that. But don't we know this rule? Don't we know if we tie those together that we can make it a lot easier and connect the sound so that now there's not two sounds, there's only one, but it's a longer sound? But did you know that there's an easier way to write that? There's an easier way. And we call this a Tim Ree. So what you are going to see here is a dotted quarter note with a single eighth note. Okay? So now we have that part. So listen how you're going to clap and say it. Big fat biscuit chew baloo, just from the oven chew baloo. Now fly over yonder chew baloo. So now we have this pattern with a dotted quarter note and an eighth note, and we're going to practice the next activity we see of how we say this. Okay? So I just wanted to put this barely in your brain, just plant the seed, because next lesson we're going to add more to this. Okay? So with all of that said, it is that time, if you can believe it. So students, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying healthy and staying safe and are able to have some sense of normalcy in your lives. And that's what my hope is, again, with these videos, is that we're able to share a little bit of music time together. From what I'm seeing with the viewing, it looks like we have a really decent turnout of 4th and 5th grade students that are watching these videos. And I'm so glad. And I hope that there's going to be a point where we're able to connect and at least see each other, whether it's via Zoom or whatever, Google Hangout, whatever that case may be. But with that said, I hope you're doing well. I miss you guys like crazy. And until next time, I hope that you're doing well, and we'll see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.